Hi guys, I am finally here with my Het Huis Anubis Season 1 Part 2 review. I know this is long overdue. I started rewatching the first season in January through February, and then I just stopped because my new job got too busy, and I recently was in the vibe again and I had like 15 episodes left, so I binged them, and now I'm finally here with this review. And I'm just going to take the DVDs out because we're going to go through it from DVD to DVD. And the first DVD is the one with Mick. It's episode 62 until 75. And what are these mostly about? It starts where the first season half left off. They've done the musical. It's been a while since I watched it, so I need to refresh a little, but I still love the show, so I know everything. But they've done the musical. Nienke has heard that Victor is going to kill someone, and we learn that Joyce was in the audience. And I love the beginning of the second season half because it really gets going. We see that Rufus isn't a nice man after all, and he kidnaps Patricia. And while those episodes scared me as a kid, they got kind of more funny now because they try to make it a little bit more jokingly, but they're still very intense episodes. And I'm just going to start with that storyline straight away because it's the most important one at the very beginning of the show or the season half. And it's the fact that Patricia is still scared when she returns because eventually Fabian, Nienke, and Amber free her, which is a very intense scene with the help of Miss Van Engelen. And I love that she isn't like, well, that happened, I'm over it, let's get into the mystery again. No, she's still very much traumatized, and it keeps resurfacing, and it does when Rufus returns in season 3 as well. And I also love that they involved Mara. So when Patricia gets back, they had this explanation Victor made up together with the teachers that she was at her aunt's place in Spain, but they weren't, obviously. And they decide to tell Mara because Mara lives in the same room as Patricia. And I love that Mara's like, yeah, thank you for telling me. You can really trust me. I will help you through it. And that's such a beautiful arc. And it's one of the first times in the series that I actually enjoy watching Mara, because Mara is not my fave character. She gets a lot better, but this was the first time I was like, damn, I really enjoy you as a character. So yeah, that's one part of this DVD, and then the other part is basically a new love triangle. Mick has been elected in the first season half to go to this English sports camp, and he goes there for like 2 to 3 weeks. And in the meantime, Mara, who just got together with him, is a little bit lonely, and she forms a closer bond with Jeroen. And as a kid, I never saw the potential Jeroen and Mara had, but now I really do, and I actually enjoy those scenes a lot. Even though they can be a little bit ridiculous at times, it was fun to see them grow closer, to have, fun together, and that was like really nice. And I think the actors really had good chemistry. One thing of this whole storyline, because that's what's happening at the same time as the whole kidnapping storyline, is that Appy suddenly gets a crush on Mara as well. I think they wrote that in to create one, extra drama, and two, because the actors were actually dating in real life at that time. And even though I didn't see the chemistry, they broke up for a reason, I guess. It was a weird storyline, but it does lead to the greater good because all of this leads to Appy joining the club. And I'm going to take DVD 2 as well, which is the Mara DVD, which is from episode 76 until 89. And at these episodes, cousin Mo arrives. And cousin Mo is Appy's cousin, who was in an arranged marriage, but it ended up being to the girl he bullied in middle school / high school because she was fat, in his words. And he's scared to marry her, so he ran away, and he ended up at Appy's because he thought he could hide out there, which he does underneath his bed. Besides Jimmy in season 2, Mo is the character I hate most in the whole show. Like, I think it's the actor because he didn't bother me as much in Das Huis Anubis, but he's obnoxious, he's condescending, he is disgusting in what he says and how he eats. he just annoys me on so many levels. And I hate that eventually when Nabila, the girl he bullied, discovers Appy and is like, my whole family is ashamed of me now. I need to marry someone. Can I marry you? And Appy is like, no, I'll get you to him. And he sets them up, and eventually they do get married. I think that's the biggest bullshit ever, because Mo does not deserve someone like Nabila, and I hated that ending for her. But the whole storyline got to a good point because Mo eventually gives Appy a CSI kit, which leads to him discovering some of the secrets of the club and him eventually joining the club. And I'm just going to focus on that after this small interference bit. So one of the things I also very much enjoy was the fact that Joyce actually got to say her piece. Like, they, thanks to Miss Van Engelen, Patricia came into contact with Joyce and she was like, I don't know if I'll ever return, but it's not you, it's something I can tell much about, but it's for the greater good that I'm here. And when she eventually does return, it makes it all the more beautiful. So that was a scene I really enjoyed, and which was around this time. But then I'm going to start with the most prominent storyline, and then I'll do the side storyline. And the most prominent storyline mostly starts on this DVD, the Appy DVD, which is episode 90 until 103. And it's the riddles, the mystery, of course, because the mystery slowed down a lot with Patricia getting kidnapped, learning that the Joy storyline doesn't involve the mystery storyline at all. And it pretty much gets going again when Fabian discovers the riddle of Peta, which leads to a note behind one of the paintings in the hallway. And it has a mysterious code in it that you can only see with certain types of light, like fire and blue light. And they eventually lead to a golden disc that Appy helps Fabian take from behind the clock. And then they start to decipher the final code. And the final code eventually leads to the Stargazer, which has the final riddle. And that's the most crazy thing, because I only just noticed now, and I'm honestly ashamed that I only just noticed now, as I've seen the season, I think 8 times already. But like, Sarah immediately told Nienke the final riddle in like the first time or the second time she meets Nienke. Like, as long as a dark night and its bright stars, it's difficult to say it in English at the same time as I think it in Dutch, but as long as a dark night and its bright stars evolve the treasure, it cannot be deciphered, but then ontrafeld in Dutch with a double A, which leads to a raaf, which is a raven, meaning Corvus. And I just love that basically Nienke knew all along what would be the end, but she didn't notice because Sarah always kept rambling on about weird stuff, and Nienke was at the beginning confused. But the fact that Sarah always knew, she just couldn't decipher the final riddle, is so sad in a way. And I just love that we always could have known, but it took them 120 episodes. But like, there happened so much. There is not much riddle-wise compared to the later seasons, but everything is such a good mystery vibe, and the tension is great, and everyone still getting introduced to the mystery once at a time is amazing. And I think Appy coming to join the club, even though it took him a while to gain their trust, which is obvious with a friend as Jeroen, it was really amazing to see him become like Jeroen's kind of mean sidekick with a good heart who tries, to becoming like, shit, I want to do this. I don't do this for the money. I do this because I like you guys, because I want to solve the riddle, because it's interesting. He's so driven for it, and I just love that he helps them and that he becomes one of the better parts of the group as well. There are things which are very sad during the mystery at the ending, like Sarah's funeral or Sarah's funeral. We learn that Xenoterpstra, who appeared once in the first half, has a connection to her, and that he also wants the treasure, and then Jeroen gets into contact with him because Jeroen feels left out, and we create this whole mix of certain villains. We have Victor and the society, but mostly Victor and Van Swieten. We have then Jeroen and Zeno, and then we just have them trying to find it. And the final is such a good one. I love that in combination with the prom, how they got to prom, I'll explain you later. But the combination of the prom at the end of the school year with the mystery being resolved at the end of the school year, is so typical, but I love it. It's Harry Potter and I love it. But like all of that coming together, and I'm still thinking like, fuck, we have to go to prom. Like that's just so teen mystery shows, and I absolutely love that. And the prom episode with the madness at the beginning of them discovering the Grail, Nienke seeing the ghost of Sarah and her parents, and them going away, and then the whole chase around the house for the Grail, while the basement is flooded as well. It's just amazing, and I love that Nienke is the one who gets the Grail, who escapes through the fucking bedroom window, goes to her grand, get changed, and then she goes to prom. Her and Fabian get chosen to be prom king and queen, and they finally kiss. I'm going to talk about the relationships a little bit later, but like the tension was real up to then, and I just loved it. And the Grail being hidden below, amazing. The final shot, and then the end credits showing images of the series and especially the club. I adored it. But then something that also starts in this episode is the student body president election. And I was never really a fan of this, but now that I rewatched it again, I'm getting more and more of a fan of it, because it takes a long time, but realistically, contests like that at schools take a lot of time. So basically what happens, there has to be a student body president. And Mara is basically the only serious candidate wants to do it, but Amber, who's jealous of Mara and Mick, wants to contest as well. And they have to do a few rounds. The first one is just explaining why they're the best one, and eventually the school board decides that Mara and Amber are both great candidates and that they'll have to do an election. It happens mostly in these episodes, and they have a few tasks. The first one is the most fun one, and they have to arrange a team day based on a country, and they accidentally both choose America, or the United States of America. Not so accidentally, because Amber hears Mara say she wants to do that and decides I'll do it, and she got first to the teachers. So Mara chooses, I believe, India, but they're more referred to it as Asia, basically, because shows weren't that well presented back then. But like they have this team day, and at that team day, one of Trudy's friends, who is a fortune teller, decides to join them after Trudy asks him. But Jeroen buys him off, of course, and that way Jeroen gets to know secrets of the club through Fabian. But at the same time, he also messes between Mick and Mara. So that's a fun storyline. I really enjoy those episodes. It really shows that they have a great friendship, and that it's really just teen stuff as well, not only mystery stuff. Then there is also the second task, which is basically they have to create this like pop-up stand where they sell merchandise or give away merchandise that shows also why they're good candidates. I don't really know how that connects to an election, but Amber wins it, even though it's never clearly stated, but it's clear Amber wins it. And then the final thing they have to do is do a speech, and then it isn't really clear who wins, because Mara's speech gets interfered by this wild-ass makeover, which was very random, and then Amber's we never really hear. But eventually the votes are counted. Amber wins, but turns out that little Robbie changed the results for Patricia. Turns out he didn't change the results, and that Mara fairly won, and she gets student body president. It's a small wrap-up of it, basically, but the girls get so bitchy during those episodes. I always forget how mean they get, and I get why. There is this battle. They are both interested into the same boy, even though I think it's in Amber's case not really love anymore, but just being unable to see Mick with Mara, which I fully get. Even like, it doesn't seem fresh, but Amber and Mick were together for like over a year, and then Mick got with Mara maybe 2 months after he dated Amber. So I fully get why she acted upset, and they both went out of line several times. But in the end, I do think it was a better idea for Mara to win. Amber even says so, and I love that after everything, Amber and Mara apologized to one another. I think that's a very sincere scene that makes a lot of sense, and they are never really on the wrong foot again after that. And I really enjoy that, and I'm happy that Mara actually says, you know what, Amber wanted to throw this prom, let's do it, and they do it actually. Is there anything else? Well, and basically the prom and the final days of the mystery are in the final DVD, which is episode 104 until 114. So let's rank the characters. I'll do it in season 1 part 2 only, because they obviously grow. I think Nienke is basically the best character toward the end, because she has really grown, and eventually she does solve the mystery, or she helps it be solved safely. um, I also think that Appie is a great character, even though thanks to Jeroen he has to double cross his friends. He still wants a greater thing, and he was an amazing character. I think Fabian, Mick, they didn't really change, they remained the same. Patricia has grown as well. She became such a good friend. She really goes for the club, and I just enjoy how she went from this total bitch, under circumstances I understand, but this total bitch, to being such a good friend and caring so much about Nienke as well. I really love their friendship in season 1 part 2. Um, Characters that downgraded, in my opinion, are Amber, Mara, and Jeroen. Jeroen turns into this really mean guy, and when he called Appie a black dog at a certain moment, I was like, oh, this is too much. And he really threatened physical harm to Appie. And I do understand the situation, but he got in it himself, and I really didn't like Jeroen at all in the second half. Amber, I do get, like I said earlier, where she's coming from, but she got unnecessarily mean, especially towards Trudy. And I never got why she had to be mean towards Trudy. I get she was it tomorrow, there was this battle going on, but I never got why she had to be mean to Trudy, so that's why she has a downgrade for me as well. And then Mara, she had her good moments, but she acted terribly as well, and really condescending as well. So yeah, I didn't root for her either. And I think I have all the main characters then of this season. Yes. Faith villain? Maybe Victor, even though we know he really isn't a villain, but yeah, Victor and Faith plotline and mystery, obviously. Faith episodes, the team day of the student body election, and then the prom episode. So, I'm going to talk about the romances now, and then about the extras. So, the romances, Nienke and Fabian. Oh my god. I've always loved them, but in this season they're off the charts. In the beginning it isn't really noticeable with all the drama going on, but toward the ending it's so obviously clear that they're into one another. It was always clear for Fabian, he was into her from the moment he saw her. But Nienke, you see, it's subtle, but she looks at him longer. They touch one another more often. The other characters are noticing it. Jeroen even calls her out for it, that they have weird sexual tension. And I just absolutely love it. And then when they have to sneak to the house at the later episodes to look for the stargazer, but Victor comes in, so they hide in the laundry room, and they're like this close. Ah, it was so good. And their kisses were it. I also love that Fabian never crossed the line with her. He always held back because he didn't know if she felt that way. And the fact that he's just saying how amazing she is, and Nienke's like, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to kiss him, was amazing. The fact also he plays at the ending when they kiss, which is like the love song of the show. Perfect. Mara and Mick, I mind them less now I've rewatched again, but they're a terrible couple, and I get why they break up. But I do think they're the best version of the Mick and Mara's, because this Mick actually cares for Mara. And I think it's more Mara shutting him down than the other way around. Mara and Jeroen was a great ship, but they get better in season 2. Appie and Mara didn't make sense, that's all I have to say. and I'm glad it ended. And I also love that Appy finally got this moment with Amber at the ending, because you can already see their friendship grow throughout this, and I absolutely love that. Patricia and Robbie also have this like little tension at the end, so it's mostly a setup for season 2, but I never really saw why they made sense and why they did that, honestly. And I think those are mainly the ships, yeah. So onto the extras. All the extras are on this DVD, the Jeroen DVD. And basically, it's two things. The first one is a music video of the new title song, or the new main music of season 2, Het Geheim or The Secret. But the funny thing is, they made this whole cool ass music video of it, but here they didn't even have the full song yet when this DVD came out. So it's basically just the refrain 3 times and random clips of season 1 and stuff they filmed of season 2, which was really fun to see that this was the original music video, because it was so bad that it's adorable. And then they have 2 Nickelodeon episodes of Super Nick and At Nick, and those were like reality shows you have nowadays, but like reality shows as in talk shows mostly, like late night, something like that. But then for kids, and it was early at the morning. And Super Nick was from the 14th of March 2007, so when it just started airing again. And they basically talk about what might happen, how is it going to end, what will be in store, are we going to get a movie? Yes, they did eventually. And then the other episode is At Nick, which was promotion because it aired the Sunday after they finally started showing Anubis on TV, so the 3rd of October 2006. It's basically the cast introduction, so them saying who they are, how old they are. They play in the skit as well, and then they are like, yeah, we're dating in the show, we're dating in real life. It's amazing that they already dared to say that back then. But yeah, you didn't have social media like you do now. And then they are like, well, we can't say much about the mystery, but you'll see. And I just love that these clips were included. I might sub them this summer when I'm finishing up on everything at Huis Anubis, like I said on my other social media. But like, yeah, that's pretty much the extras. It's sad that these are the final extras ever on that Huis Anubis DVDs. Don't know why they quit doing that, because they did it on Das Huis Anubis and I always very much enjoyed it. But yeah, this was my season 1 part 2 review, which was very, very, very needed. And I have something in store for you as well. I don't know when I will have time to post it, but I guess in 2 weeks' time. So this Friday, which is the 26th of May, I'm going to Plopsaland again, and my boyfriend and I are staying the night at the hotel. We've done it before last year. My parents gifted it to us again, and we wanted to do it now because the weather hasn't been great, but it's finally looking on the upside, and it isn't a busy holiday weekend like usually. But I'm going to vlog it for once. So we leave from our place in Antwerp and we're going to the Panne. And I will vlog a little inside. I will vlog definitely the Anubis ride. I'll vlog other stuff as well because I love Studio 100 or Studio 100 as a whole. And I love many, many shows. I love the theme parks and I just can't wait to go again. I'm really hyped, so I'll try to vlog as much as possible. And I hope to upload it here. The vlog will be probably done, so it will take some time. I have some time a few weeks later, so I hope to upload it then, and I'll upload this as soon as possible. But until then, I want to thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye!